Hello, welcome to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. I believe we are on episode number 81. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner, Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. This week, we're going to talk about how to stop falling for it. We mentioned it last week, last few weeks. We talk about phishing a lot. That's the human factor, the human element is how many of our hackers get into our networks. That's how a lot of these threat actors start, is through the human element. So a big part of that is phishing attempts. How do we stop being the victim of phishing? How do we stop falling for it? I'm going to walk through a few tips, few suggestions today that can help us be ready, be better prepared to respond when we are the target, when we are trying to be phished. How do we stop from being the victim? So that's what I want to talk about today. Let's just dive into it. First, do not fall for emotional triggers. Even from the earliest days, hackers have always played on our emotional triggers. We Maybe it's greed. Maybe it's, oh, some fast cash. Oh, if I do this, maybe I can win an iPad. Oh, if I do this, maybe I can get a discount. Whatever it is, there's always been an element of greed that hackers have used. Curiosity. We we are as a society, we're nosy. We're curious. We want to know what others are doing. That's why social media is so big and so popular, is that we have a need for curiosity and to see what others are doing. Um, how often have you seen an email or seen a Facebook post or a Twitter post that says, look at these are the worst people on the internet or on Instagram or on Facebook? Take a look at what they're doing. You'll never believe it. Um, those links are trying to play on your curiosity of wanting to know what others are doing. They're trying to play on the hope and the desire that you're going to be nosy enough that you're going to click through the pictures. Urgency. We all respond in different ways, but we all typically, if you had a week to do something, do you do it immediately or do you procrastinate? Well, some of us do one, some of us do the other, but we will typically respond to urgency. If there's an urgent situation, we'll respond to it a little bit quicker. So, um, phishing attempts will play on that. We also have a deep down desire to be helpful. Most people, I'll say most, there's exceptions, want to be helpful, want to try to help others. So, what is it that we can do, or what is it that hackers can do to play on that helpfulness? Hey, I'm locked out of this account. Can you help me? Or I can't find this number, this account number. I can't find this user's name. I'm trying to figure out how to contact your X department. Can you help me? We want to help. We want to try to do that. Hey, I'm having problems with this invoice. Can you walk me through how to pay it? Uh, Whatever it is, we have a desire to be helpful. And then finally, there's a fear element that people will use. Your account's going to be canceled if you don't do this. I spoke at a conference a few years ago, and one of the things that elderly folks were being targeted with phishing attacks is that if you don't pay your IRS bill, they would get phone calls. If you don't pay your IRS bill, then you're going to go to jail. Well, first of all, it wasn't true. But second, they wanted them to pay their IRS bill in iTunes gift cards. Yet people were falling for it because there's a deep down desire and fear that people have. They don't want to go to jail. They're afraid. And if you're not exactly sure what you're looking for or not exactly sure about the technology, then you can play on that fear. So those 5 emotional triggers are things that are used quite a bit. So how do you stop phishing attempts? Create a policy. Let's have policies on when is it okay to share a password via email? Is it ever okay to share passwords via email or on the phone? If I call you, is there any point where you can share personal information with me over the phone? What verification needs to be required before we allow that to happen? There should be some very clear policies in place. That way, it's not me trying to decide, is it okay if I tell them this information or is it not? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Our policy says no, I can't do that. So then there becomes no question about how to stay safe in that situation. Train employees to ID phishing emails. So these 3 emails are actually 3 ones that I have received multiple times. First, Windows user alert. I always find it funny when I get a Windows user alert because I'm, as you can probably tell from the graphics, Mac. So I don't typically have Windows alerts. But if you look at the who this email came from, it came from Outlook.com. Well, if I sign up for a free email account from Microsoft, my email is probably going to be at Outlook.com. So there is anybody in the world can sign up for an account at Outlook.com. Would Microsoft really email me from a generic email account? No, they wouldn't. So right there is a trigger that says, though, that's probably not right. But dig into it, look at it. Netflix. Oh, the number of times I have seen Netflix tell me my payment method is out of date when it's not is phenomenal. Let's assume that my my Netflix payment was out of date. You don't click on the email. You go to your Netflix account and update it from there. Do not click on that link, no matter if it is out of date and needs to be, your payment method needs to be updated. But more importantly, if you look at the email address, there's nothing about that email address that says Netflix. There's nothing about that email address that would even make me remotely think it might have actually come from Netflix. So you certainly wouldn't respond to it that way. PayPal. If I send a PayPal email to you, there's a good chance that you have a PayPal account. Now, you may be watching and say, I don't have a PayPal account. I've never had a PayPal account. Okay, you're the one. But if I send this to 10,000 people, there's a good chance half of those people, maybe 5,000, have a PayPal account. But understand what it says. Look for typos, look for errors, look for things that might be triggers to help you understand that this is a scam. First of all 3 of these examples, don't click on the email. Don't click on the link in the email. Go to your account. Even if you think your Windows user account has unusual activity, go to your account, go to your computer, and do it from there. Do not click on the link. That's really important. Do not click on the link. Some other tips. Encourage users to report phishing attempts. If you have a business and you are implementing some of these types of things, then encourage users to report phishing attempts. If they report it, then it'll help them get in the mindset that I'm looking for something that I can report, and reward them. If they report phishing attempts, reward them in some form. Implement technology to utilize and to block. The more phishing attempts that you can block before they get to the end users, the better off your organization is going to be. Understand what makes you a target, and that's going to require some training as well. As I mentioned, use technologies to prevent phishing. Have a plan in place in case someone falls victim. We're going to try, if you're a small business, if you're a large business, you're going to try really hard to stop it from happening. But what if it does happen? How do you stop them, or how do you respond if you can't stop them? And then finally, monitor the dark web for credentials. If you have some of your company's credentials that have been compromised, keep an eye out for that, because if they've been compromised, then maybe it's those credentials that are going to be used to craft a phishing email to others in your organization. So just a couple things to keep in mind. If we take some basic steps, then we can reduce the risk of phishing. I'm not saying that you're going to stop all phishing attacks. It's going to be really hard to do that, but we can reduce the number of phishing attacks, of phishing successful attempts. So I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope you take these to heart and try to implement some of these both personally and through your organization. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. I appreciate you joining us today for 10 at 10, and I'll see you next time back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.